And then we get to everybody's favorite category, except mine is lip products, but I know everybody else's is eyeshadow. So eyeshadow palettes. Well, I do have here a picture of 5 in July, but one of them was a magnetic palette full of singles. If we don't count that, I had 4 pre-made palettes. The magnetic palette I no longer have. We are going to talk about singles soon. And then the Juvia's Place the Nubian 2 palette I decided to declutter because it was just so old. I actually think I decided to debot it in the end of the summer, but then I decided once I had that experience with my old and expired eyeshadows that I don't want to use so old eyeshadows anymore. I do still have the ABH Soft Glam palette, which I also had in July, and then the Huda Beauty 9-pan palettes, and those actually are my Panda palettes for this year. And then I have added to my collection the Catrice Pure Nude palette. I also bought the Hot Mocha palette, used it for a couple of times, and I just decided that I don't need it, so I gave it away. So I do have currently 4 palettes. I will say though, I have one coming in the mail. I did place an order for Juvia's Place, and I got 1 eyeshadow palette. I was really wanting to get 2, but then only 1 was something that I had really on my wish list. I think with eyeshadow palettes, my goal is to have 5 in my collection. In my ideal wannabe minimalist mindset, it would be cool to have like only 1 palette. But I just don't think it is realistic for me right now because I still am a makeup lover and a makeup hobbyist. I maybe would like to add a couple of Colourpop eyeshadow palettes to my collection, and I might do it for my birthday, which is in June. Depending where I am then with my Huda Beauty palettes. If the Huda Beauty palettes are nearly done at that point, I think I will allow myself to purchase 1 or 2 Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. Okay, then let's talk about eyeshadow singles, and this honestly still makes me really sad because in July I did have this beautiful palette where I did have some single eyeshadows, and I actually did declutter some of these singles in a declutter video in August, and then I debotted some eyeshadow palettes, or at least the Juvia's Place, the Nubian 2 eyeshadow palette, and I had like my perfect eyeshadow color story in this magnetic palette, and then I did get a reaction out of some of these eyeshadows because they were just so old, like we are talking 2015. It was a lesson that I just don't want to risk it anymore, and I don't want to use eyeshadow that is too old. But it makes me sad because I didn't allow myself to use some of these beautiful eyeshadows when they still were good. And I think this is one reason why I really want to keep my collection small and curated, because I don't want to let my makeup expire before I get good use out of it. I don't have any of these singles anymore, but I do have some new singles. Well, I do have here 1 like pressed single eyeshadow, and then I do have some liquid eyeshadows, and then 1 cream eyeshadow stick, so maybe I should count them in different categories, but for now I just decided to dump all of them into this one like singles category. I will admit this is an area where my shopping got a little bit out of control now in fall. I was quite upset about my old and beautiful eyeshadows expiring, and maybe I wanted to make myself feel better and allow myself to purchase some new eyeshadows. And then I have recently been a lot into really quick and easy eyeshadow looks, and I just think a liquid eyeshadow is the easiest way to get there because you don't need to use eyeshadow primer or anything. You can just like tap it to your lid and call it a day. Today, however, I am wearing one of the liquid eyeshadows as my lid shade. It is the lighter one from the Pupa eyeshadow, but I am also wearing like a bronzer a little bit as a deepening shade. But yeah, in future I would prefer to keep this area of my makeup a little bit more curated, just because these are the type of products that I wouldn't feel comfortable using a liquid eyeshadow that is, let's say, more than 2 years old. So because of that, I want to keep the collection really small so that I'm sure that I'm able to get good use out of the ones that I have before they expire. So I think my goal, at least for cream and liquid eyeshadows would be to have 5. So this is what my entire eyeshadow collection looked like in July, and this is what it looks like right now. So it has changed a lot. In general, I am pretty happy with my eyeshadow collection. Then there is the Juvia's Place palette coming, but even with that, it's not like my eyeshadow collection is out of control. Just the liquid and cream eyeshadows is an area that I don't want to let grow at all, because they are products that I'm not as comfortable using for too long. Okay, so now we are moving into my personal favorite makeup category, so lips. I just love lip products, especially lipsticks. So lip liners, I did have 3 in July, now I do have 4. The nude lip liners are the same. The red lip liner that I had in July, I actually had to declutter because it was so old and dry that I wasn't able to do my lip line with it. Now I do have 2 Essence red lip liners. I do have one that is more like a bright and kind of like fiery red, and then a little bit darker classic red. But honestly, I think I can do with just one red lip liner in future, but for nude lip liners I do like to have 2, so a more kind of like pinky peachy nude and then a more beigey brown nude. Okay, then this next category I'm probably the most proud of from this entire inventory video, so lip gloss. In July I had 3 lip glosses and now I do have 0, so I was able to pan all of those lip glosses. I have been wearing lip gloss a ton during the past 6 months, and never again do I want to wear a lip gloss. Well, I will say I did buy from Juvia's Place when I placed the order those, I think it's gloss stick that it's called. So it's not a lip gloss, but it is really a lipstick and lip gloss hybrid thing. So I hope I will like those, but when it comes to an actual lip gloss that is this dip-in product, I just don't like them. I think they turn gooby when time goes on and the more you use the product. I don't like how they feel on the lips, they're tacky. So lip gloss is something that I'm not going to buy, but I will say I do like some of those more natural, like tinted lip balmy type of lipsticks sometimes, because I don't always want to have something that is fully opaque, for example. But let's talk about lipstick, and this is another category that I didn't do the best with during the past 6 months. My collection has changed quite a bit, partly because I have decluttered some old ones and partly because I have brought in quite a few new ones. In July I had 12 lipsticks in my collection. Now I do have 14 and a lot has changed. So from July I did declutter a couple of my Catrice lipsticks, a couple of my Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. I really was kind of like sad to declutter them, but they were just shades that didn't work for me. So the Pillow Talk, it is described to be an universal nude, but on me it looks absolutely horrible. It looks like bluish and really muted and makes me look like a corpse. But then also the Wedding lipstick in, I don't remember the shade, but it's described to be like a peachy nude, but on me it just looks like a dirty warm brown. One of my Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks I still decided to keep, but even that is not my favorite if I'm completely honest. Then I decluttered 2 Essence Hydra Matte lipsticks. I just really didn't like that formula. And then 2 matte liquid lipsticks. I just don't like those. Then I have added quite a few lipsticks in my collection, and I will admit I do regret buying some of those. For example, the 2 Essence lipsticks with the white cap on the top row. Those were completely impulse purchases, but then also on the bottom row there are some new lip products, and those are actually something that I don't regret at all. I bought those from our trip to Tallinn, and these are not lip products that I could buy from Finland, so these are actually something that I'm really excited about. Then on the right of the bottom picture there are also some new Catrice and Essence lip products. This is what I have right now, and yes, then as I said, there's some Juvia's Place lip products coming, not only those gloss sticks but some of those Is It Velvety matte lipstick. Honestly, the biggest reason why I wanted to film this makeup inventory video today and not wait for the next weekend is because then I might have gotten my Juvia's Place order and it would look even worse. like the growth of my lip product collection. But then if I look at my entire lip product collection and how it has changed, I don't think this looks that bad. And you know, I was able to finish the lip glosses, which I'm super proud of. So now I just want to allow myself to enjoy the lipsticks. And I am doing, by the way, the lipstick project pan, kind of like the seasonal tracking thing. I have not filmed any videos to that yet, but the first one will be after February. So in that I do actually track the uses out of my entire collection, and I want to be sure that I don't neglect anything, but at the same time I do want to have a focus on some seasonally appropriate products and the older products. Let's talk about these pictures still, because this can look a little bit confusing, because this is not organized by product type, but actually this is organized by the year. So in the picture from July, the grouping on the upper left is actually my really old lip products. All of these were like 2021 and older. Then the lower left was 2022 lip products. Then on the middle of the picture where there's the row of the lipsticks, the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks and the two Fenty gloss bombs. Those were bought in 2023, and then the only product that I had bought so far in 2025, and even that I didn't buy but I got as a gift with purchase, was that Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. So yeah, I did great when it comes to buying lip products in the first half of 2024. I didn't buy any. That changed obviously during the second half of the year. But yeah, if we look at my lip product collection by year right now, I do have two lip liners that are pretty old. I'm not worried about like getting a reaction or anything so much with a lip liner because I keep sharpening that, but it happened with the red lip liner that I mentioned that I had to declutter, that it just got so dry that I just wasn't able to use it anymore. These older lip liners I wish I could finish this year and then replace them with newer and fresher ones. The four lipsticks on the top row are from 2023, and I do have here two kind of like tinted lip balmy type of essence lipsticks, so they are kind of like sheer and hydrating. Those I would like to actually finish this year. I'm not sure if I can finish the darker one. If not, then I want to declutter it, but the lighter one I do think that is pretty realistic for me to finish, and I hope I can challenge myself to finish the darker one too. Then there is like a nude Catrice lipstick that I want to finish this year, and I really do love that, so that shouldn't be difficult. Then there is from Charlotte Tilbury Hot Lips 2 line, the shade Red Hot Susan. That one I actually think I will end up decluttering at some point this year. I have still decided to keep it, but I just don't really love it. I do love red lipstick, but it's one of those things that I only need to have one, and the one that I have on right now I way prefer over the Charlotte Tilbury one. But then the entire bottom row of this picture is new lip products brought to my collection in 2024. Again, I don't regret all of these, but some I do. With some I think I should have been way more mindful. In total, I do have currently 18 lip products in my collection. From those 18, 4 are lip liners and 14 is lipsticks. In my ideal makeup collection, I would maybe like to have 10 lipsticks in my collection and 3 lip liners. So that would be my ideal, but realistically we are not going to get there anytime soon, because once the Juvia's Place lip products comes in, which is 6 in total, I will have 20 lipsticks and 4 lip liners. So 24. I mean, is that an enormous collection? No, but it is a growth since my last inventory. So yeah, I think I'm going to set the absolute maximum for lipstick to be 20. So now we are at the point that if something doesn't leave my collection, then I am not allowed to buy a new one also. Let's move on. There are still a couple of extra categories that I want to talk about. So perfume and nail polish. I know that they're not technically speaking makeup, but they are something that I use to kind of change my appearance or to express myself. Like a perfume can reflect my mood or the time of year, just like my eyeshadow look can do, or my lipstick shade or whatever. So in July I had 9 perfumes, and I do still have 9, but what I have here has changed a little bit. I actually was able to sell the 10ml travel sprays from my Kayali Vanilla 28 and the Kayali Yum Pistachio Gelato, and then I have added a couple of Lattafa perfumes into my collection after sampling them. The Kayalis that I decided to declutter, I just didn't really love them. Please don't come for me, but I personally think the Vanilla 28 is pretty overhyped. Kayali is not a cheap brand, although we're not talking about luxury niche brands. It is still a brand like sold at Sephora, and it is higher end. And I just think the performance of the Kayali fragrances can sometimes be a little bit disappointing, especially with Vanilla 28. It's just really lackluster at first. Like when I got my Vanilla 28 from Kayali, the 10ml travel spray, which by the way I wanted to get that because I had sampled the small sample and I was a little bit on a hands. But it was just so light, and when I would spray it to my skin I would smell it for like 5 minutes and it would be gone. And a lot of people say that it gets better throughout the time and let it macerate. Yes, that for sure will help, but I just think with perfumes with this kind of price tag, you shouldn't need to let it macerate. But also, as I said, I was a little bit on a hands just with the smaller sample. For me, the Vanilla 28 smells like vanilla extract with floral note. And it's just not my favorite type of vanilla, but I will say the Vanilla Royal Sugared Patchouli from Kayali, that is probably from all of my perfumes my favorite. So please don't take it as like hating Kayali, but just the Vanilla 28 in my opinion is overhyped. Oh yeah, and then the Yum Pistachio Gelato. I actually did buy it in a larger bottle in spring, and then I bought the travel spray for my sister. Ended up giving the larger bottle for my sister because I realized that I don't love it, and decided to keep the travel spray for myself. And now I decided that I would rather just sell the travel spray. The thing with that one is that in my opinion the dry down is beautiful, but the opening is just so harsh. Like there's all kinds of different notes and it's just really strong and like punch to your face, and it lasts for quite a long time until it gets to kind of like a beautiful nutty and sweet dry down. But the opening for me was just too much to tolerate. Yeah, those are perfumes that left my collection. The new ones that came in are the Lattafa Nebras, which I'm actually wearing today. It is really pretty. It is like a gourmand with some berries in it, so there is freshness. And then also the Yara from Lattafa. I just took the ring out of the bottle because I thought it looks better. Realistically, does anybody need more than a couple of perfumes? Not necessarily. Like if I think about my ideal wannabe minimalist collection, I think maybe 6 would be kind of like maximum. So you know, an everyday perfume for each season, spring, summer, fall and winter, and then a special occasion perfume for spring and summer, and then one for fall and winter. But I do really enjoy perfume. It's something that I have gotten excited about. I like to smell good. I think 15 is probably so much that I wouldn't want to go over. I might bring in couple of new perfumes becoming like winter and spring, we'll see, but I always want to sample before purchasing. Speaking of samples, I did have 15 samples in July and now I do have 10. Some of those samples that I had I decided to sell because I just didn't really enjoy them. If I know, even from trying a sample once, that this is not my cup of tea, better than someone else try that sample rather than force myself to use it up. If it is a perfume that I'm on a hands about 10, of course I want to use up the entire sample to really figure it out. I don't have an official goal Maybe like 20 is the maximum that I don't want to go over, because I also want to be able to enjoy the perfumes that I actually have in my collection, and also to be able to go through the samples. Okay, so last but not least, we do have nail polish left, and this one does not include my top coats and base coat. I do have 2 top coats always, one for darker colors and one for lighter colors, and then 1 base coat. But these are colored nail polishes. I did have 11 in July, and now I do have 8. So one I was able to give away, it was the Essence Always on Top nail polish, and then 2 Catrice nail polishes I was able to finish during fall time. So now I'm down to 8. These are actually some of the oldest products in my collection. With nail polish I am not so worried that I will get a reaction or anything like that. However, I think because my nail polishes are so old, that's why I have been pretty good in not adding anything into this category. Although sometimes I get this idea that it would be fun to buy some sort of a colorful nail polish or whatever. But then I kind of like try to think that I do have quite a few old nail polishes that I want to work on first. And sometimes I am kind of like dreaming about getting my nails done professionally, but I absolutely cannot justify that before my entire nail polish collection is panned. If I'm going to keep doing my nail polish myself, I think 5 would probably be a good number for nail polishes. Then if I would get my nails done professionally, I think I would only like to have 1 nail polish. I would maybe like it to be colorful because I would use it on my 2 nails. I don't know if a really nude would look like there's nothing there, so maybe a red. Right now I cannot see myself adding anything into this category, and I do have one of the Color Club nail polishes in my project pan, and I'm probably going to roll into that another one in the next update. Okay, so that is everything for my makeup inventory for January of 2025. We are still here, we survived through the video. My makeup has not spread too much from here, although my eye has been a little bit watery. I think it is a little bit better right now, but yeah, these are always so fun videos to film. The next one will be in July. We will see how my makeup collection has changed then. Let me know if you have filmed a makeup inventory video. I would love to check yours out, because as I said in the very beginning of the video, these are some of my favorite videos to watch from other people. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next one. Bye bye.